Well, taking a look at the bans of RDC, the first 4 are underway immediately. Clearly, we're seeing some power picks, as well as that Tilanus immediately banned away, keeping that away from Z. Of course, Florentino being the final blue side ban is what it's looking, which means, gentlemen, Wisp will be open.
And this curious Yorn ban has drawn my eye because Z did run it once during qualifiers and looked all right, but you'd think it would be a Wisp if you're still target banning.
Yeah, last week Z ran it twice in the games, but that's only because Wisp and Telenos were banned out. It was the backup pick, so I don't know why they're banning the backup pick.
Interesting pick as well. Now Richter left on the table. He's going to get picked up, but gentlemen, it's still looking like something of an opportunity here for Sleepy Team. Wisp is still available, and now they get to make the first pick on their 1-2.
First, though, you should see Sleepy Team draw their attention towards, I would say, their support role, because that's the most in contention role between Crashed now being locked in for 09 and whatever Memorized is playing. And I like that they've taken away the Crashed because it's one of the most effective initiation tools against a static backline like a Wisp would provide.
I do like them picking up the Wisp this early, though, because it could be taken away by Simjo. We talked about that in the past. Simjo is very flexible. He could decide to go on the... He could have decided, I should say, go on the Wisp to take it away from them.
One of the most versatile players that we've actually seen in Europe in Simjo. If you've seen his streams, if you've seen his content, it's quite the opportunity. Ryoma and Tulin now locked in for Team Queso, and look and see what we have here. And Omen, nothing that seems too crazy. And here it is. Oh, he swapped to Liliana at the last minute. We almost got to see Knight and what he's been used to be known for, and that Batman.
We still might, because I very much doubt the Batman will be drafted against him, but at the last second they feel it's important to lock in a Liliana early in the draft, perhaps worrying that Team Queso are going to put that Tulin in the side lane.
Well, I think the Joker's going to be going in the sideline here for the side of Team Queso, and I love the pick. Obviously, we saw the graphic of Joker on Simjo. He's played it 3 times, even in the past week alone. He loves shutting down the marksman in the Abyssal lane with that Joker.
And this is Wonder Woman in the jungle now for Knight, and it will be the Omen in side lane.
So he doesn't get his normal DC stalwart in the Batman, but is still able to continue with a little bit of aggression with that Wonder Woman as well. Omen, of course, going into food. Now that we finally have ourselves locked in on these rosters, despite the fact that Sleepy Team seemed to get something of their advantage, Team Queso has quite a strong composition that they've been able to create for themselves.
This is a very standard TQ composition. They have the Annette on Memorized, which in and of itself is terrifying because he's one of the best Annettes in the world. And he's got a lot of squishy characters around the map who will be moving very quickly, and they're relying on the Annette to be able to keep up. For any other support player, this actually doesn't work because you don't have the mobility on the character to keep pace with the team, and you're not landing enough studs to make sure that the tanky characters can't get to the backline. And it still might not, depending on the Crashed play.
It's also going to be interesting to watch as well, and we continue to highlight this, the side lane power that Sleepy Team actually does have at their advantage with the Omen, with the Wisp, and what that can create for himself. But when you take a look at what they're looking at the opposite side of the battlefield, Queso's definitely still ready to brawl on those side lanes.
Yeah, you have the classic matchup, or what has become classic, Richter versus that Omen. And it can go to Richter in the early game, Omen can take in the late game, but it really comes down to skill, obviously. But I want to go back to the matchup that we highlighted in the very beginning of our talk, and that is Simjo versus Z.
Oh, we even got the hero portraits right and everything.
We have the exact heroes. I am just, I don't know what to say. But Joker versus Wisp is a very interesting matchup because when Wisp gets farmed up, she's going to be doing insane damage from extremely far away. And for Simjo, if he can get ahead in that farm, he can absolutely blow her up and take her out of the game.
It's also going to be an opportunity because we have a Ryoma and the aggression that he has in the early game. How's he going to be able to affect the side lane? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're not going to keep you waiting any longer. Week number 4 has begun. Europe is on the table. Game 1, match 1. Gentlemen, make it happen.
I think this game entirely depends on this support matchup. I'm keeping an eye on 09 on the Crashed and Memorized on the Annette. I think Memorized defense of his team and the Crashed initiations may very well decide everything.
Right, and if they're able to be aggressive and take away...
Simjo, that's dangerous, the sword and shield. Knight cannot quite find the kill, but the lasso is there, and Memorized already has failed at his duty once.
Oh my goodness, so yeah, that's an amazing lasso, and we're seeing the issue with switching up that... The roster going with Simjo on the Tulin, not being able to play it as well as, you know, we've seen in the past from Ruiz. We could already have the evidence here.
Yeah, that might really be hurting them because They've made that switch, and this means Ibuchichi's going to be, I think, relied on to play more of the frontline role than he has previously. Now, that's good based off his previous performance over the last few days, but he needs to show that's continuing.
TJ, I gotta be honest, when I saw the Tulin and the Joker, it was so synonymous with Simjo and Ruiz that I didn't even realize that they switched it on us.
Yep.
Already the results aren't there, though.
Well, not to.
Well, we'll see.
Too early.
Okay.
Not to call it too early. Simjo's a very, very good player. I do wonder why they've made that switch, but it may just be as simple as Ruiz wanted more sideline action.
Wanted to be that carry on the sideline, wanted to take out Z for himself. He's like, oh, I'll take it on.
Yeah. Full pressure from Sleepy Team towards this Abyssal.
5-man rotation.
Yeah.
Hello.
And actually, very low HP on a few of those players. You can see Few and O9 dropping incredibly low. Bracelets are there, though. Knight gets the Abyssal. Team Queso can't do much. Yavex will go through. Death from above gets behind the Metamorphosis, but Yavex is too far in. He's got to back out, and Knight's holding it in place. The Reiki shot will connect. There's the shock and all, and Z's got first blood. As Sleepy Team continue to dive forward, Few's got through. He's chained in by the Death's Embrace, and Z hunts down Memorize, split from the team. Ibuchichi and the rest of Team Queso are gone.
Look at how aggressive Z is. I love it, TJ. I've missed this for so long.
Simjo has a chance at redemption. He'll get one kill, but one only. Few survived by the skin of his teeth.
Oh, you can say that again. Just precarious amounts of health are for Few, but I gotta go back to Z. Oh my goodness, Z is back on that Wisp. Team Queso may have made a mistake in letting it through. The point-blank shotgun chasing down members. TJ, I'm loving it.
It was so effective. Team Queso could do very little in the face of that much dive.
Exactly, and because the dive is coming through and because the damage is coming behind it, they just can't deal with Z.
They've got Yavex back in lane. Team Queso have split up and spread out.
Yeah.
We criticized actually a little bit Sleepy Team for grouping up as much as they did. It hasn't hurt them at all.
Right, it seemed like a conscious decision though. It wasn't like something like, oh, I guess we're here so we should do this. They seemed to decide as a team. It seemed like something they decided to do before the game even started to kind of catch off Team Queso and make sure that they get that early game advantage and perhaps throw Team Queso behind and see if they fall behind because of that.
Well, it's currently worked. A small but significant 1,000 gold lead is in Sleepy Team's hands, and they're trying to leverage that into more pressure across the map. You can see that Spirit Sentinel going over, pressure in mid coming through. They're playing very aggressive.
Exactly, but the one thing I am going to be looking at this entire time is going to be Z's farm. She has a couple of gloves to her name, that 24% critical damage. If you add that to the Arcana that she already has, it's going to be a lot. So watch for that damage to come up, and when she brings the Clavis Sancti in there, the damage is going to be hitting even harder.
Abyssal Dragon now below half HP. Simjo gets Few on the other side of the map. This means the Metamorphosis is more important, but Memorized is in play. That's good Hurricane Wall. The shock and all still forces them to run. A player down. Sleepy Team get their second Dragon, but won't chase a fine.
Yeah, despite Fu falling, this is a consistent theme that we're seeing, TJ. Consistently, we have Sleepy pushing into Team Queso, and Team Queso are the ones who have to disengage. And that's going to be problematic if that's going to be a continuing theme here, because the more you disengage, the more you're going to be hit by that shock and awe.
And the Hurricane Wall actually is possibly the worst thing ever, because it just says, hey, this is where we're standing.
We're going to be here for a while. If there was ever an ability you guys could use to perhaps punish us, then...
To signal where you should drop your big AoE damage.
Yeah, that just right here would be good, thanks.
Memorized is going to have to, I think, put a lot more effort into targeting the backline, but we have already seen him kind of step up from those first few fights. The wind cuffs are starting to land. That should be worrying for O9.
I'm actually looking for Yavex to be the one to jump into the backline because he can most easily get in there with that retaliate. The other members do have the ability to dive. Ruiz with that canned laughter. You have Simjo with the Thunderbird as well, but their lives they have very few health points, so it's a little bit more difficult to get back there.
Yeah, I'd keep an eye on Simjo's mobility as maybe something to watch because he's been historically such an aggressive player and he's now on a good character for it.
Right, and you know, you gotta think that he's gonna be able to handle that though.
Yavex pokes in, wind cuffs to land, chaining nice and Few together, but the damage is there from that barrel bomb. Z completely stuns up any punish.
10 mid, TJ, 10 mid.
Yeah, It's all right. They recognize the problem. Both teams spread out quite quickly. You don't want to overgroup like that. Normally, you lose a lot of control of the map.
Yeah, not my cup of tea to see that many players mid, but like you mentioned, they do spread out to their lane so they can get that gold back here.
Memorized is trying to get an angle versus some slows. They do get O9 pretty low. That'll be all, but it's all an effort of securing this Abyssal Dragon. The first two have gone this Sleepy team. There's a chance for Team Queso to strike back.
I think the Sleepy team needs to leash this Abyssal Dragon because if you look at 09, even though he has the ability to pop the Metamorphosis, if he has to pop it early because he's about to die, then that could mean he misses opportunity.
Getting him to spend that cooldown early is very, very important for Team Queso. Or they can rely on Memorize to be able to stifle the cooldown mid. Fine, they did get 09 to recall, and they're trying to punish that, but there's the shock and all. Ibuchichi still gets the Dragon Knight, will now go in. He's scared back momentarily, but he's back with the Metamorphosis to boost him forward. Ring of the Fiend as well. Memorized, you've got to run. He'll flicker out, but I'm not sure it's got them to safety because Knight dives back in with the lasso and the follow-through from 09. They keep going forward, and Z's in a lot of trouble from Memorized during that time as Knight will go down to the tower. It's completely turned around for Sleepy team.
The aggression does not work out there for them because Team Queso TJ, that was beautiful handling of that engage. They were able to go behind their tower and just dodge all the critical strikes against them and make sure that they were able to stay alive one by one.
Why was that so messy from Sleepy team?
Just poor communication. We've seen it from both teams actually this game. When they go in for an engage, not everyone's on the same page. If they had all jumped in at the same time, TJ, I think that's a successful invade.
Knight landed a really long-range lasso to try and punish Memorized.
Right.
And then 09 like thought about following up and did eventually, but it cost them so much. Ruiz might be in position for retribution, but there's Memorized, a great hurricane wall. Shock and all will tag them low, but Z's in trouble. The wind cups, it's beautiful. Memorize sets up Z for a fall, and Ibuchichi is sure to deliver.
Memorize Annette is a killer, TJ. That you don't call him a mage support for nothing, because he will knock you together and make sure that you're stuck to your own teammates.
And he did that perfectly within range of Ibuchichi's Wailing Blade.
Well, the thing is that the wind cuffs actually saved the invade of the tower earlier. This has been a consistent theme for Memorize. Obviously, one of the best supports in the entire world, but you're seeing it multiple times here. Even if the communication is not there, certainly the wind cuffs are.
Yeah. It makes these fights so much easier. This tower should fall, but it will survive on a sliver of HP as Sleepy bring 4 members to bear in mid.
The thing for you guys at home for the wind cuffs is that it's a little bit wider than you might think. You don't have to hit it in a straight line. You can actually hit horizontal targets if you get it right on the right path. So you see Memorize actually going for horizontal targets, or I should say perpendicular targets to the wind cuff sometimes.
With Z's death, the bottom lane is open, and actually Sleepy team over-rotated up top and mid, and that means they lose 2 towers, mid and bottom lane.
We're finally seeing the macro of Team Queso coming into play here. The Observer couldn't even keep up because they were all over the place on the map, and certainly Sleepy team could not keep up, and Z went down.
Towers falling literally simultaneously. Now Team Queso want to take the top tower, but they've got trouble in the back lines. Simjo caught out. They'll focus the tower first. Simjo's lassoed back into a Riki shot. He'll go down at the start of the fight. That makes it difficult for Team Queso. Yarvex and Memorize just seem to want to bail.
Right, that last one was amazing.
Oh, Vico! He goes back in! They've got a kill, they've got Memorized. Ibuchichi's lingering round to see if he can get his support player free. They've got Ruiz coming in as well. But with Simjo and Yarvex already gone, they don't have any damage.
Well, the thing is, Knight is continuing to fight this Dark Slayer instead of joining this team fight. I feel like they could have just joined in and helped maybe take them out.
This has gone on for so long. Ibuchichi's going in for the Dark Slayer. He's got the punish. He's got the steal. That is absurd.
Oh my goodness, Ibuchichi making the plays. Who is the player this week that we didn't see in week 2?
I'm so confused. How have you let that happen, Sleepy team?
Yeah, 5 members there. Don't ask me. I don't even know how he even got in there in the first place.
There were like 3 people brawling up front, and then they drifted into the pen. I am genuinely at a loss for words. That was one of the most uncoordinated takes I've ever seen.
Well, it's coordinated certainly by Ibuchichi.
Sure.
He jumped in there, said, 1v5, I like these odds, took it down. That said though, because Sleepy team now have the Abyssal Dragon to their side, they're going to be still in an okay okay spot. And through all of the madness that we've witnessed here, TJ, they've actually taken the gold lead, which is surprising to say the least, considering it looked like Team Queso was starting to take control of the game.
Yeah, they will lose that Enraged Abyssal down bottom, so Team Queso actually might lose their Drake just to this invade coming through from Few. That's really cool. He gets that Drake down decently low, clearing the wave that was accompanying it. And will now get out after he's poked a little by Yavex.
Interesting little shenanigans by Few. Unfortunately, this entire time he's been losing to Yavex in that lane, so that's been unfortunate. That's been a sore spot for them, and now they're trying to get their revenge. 4
members of Sleepy Team accost Yavex and the Dragon. They'll make the arrest successfully, but they've got to take something with it elsewhere. If Team Queso were to come out on top, they have a wave in a few moments in mid, and they'll try and make that work. All of Sleepy Team are here for the clear, though, and they'll scare Team Queso back.
What are these 4-man rotates, TJ? 4 men go left, 4 men go right, they meet in the middle.
They're working, Daniel. That's what they are.
They're doing something. And Memorize is keeping some of the structure in this game by consistently landing every single win cup, it seems like.
And that's been oftentimes the only thing that's keeping his team alive in the face of these 4-man rushes.
Exactly. One thing I want to look at, though, right now for taking a look at the builds is that Z is falling behind Ruiz in that gold count, and that's going to be problematic if she gets shut down. She does, however, have the combination of Bow the Slaughter and Desticle, though.
Few chains Yavex in. That will be Mark of the Hunter deployed, but it's simply not enough. He did get the wave clear, which does mean the tower will hold despite that kill going through. And actually, Sleepy Team have over-rotated. They sent 4 members down to the bottom, which means this tower up top is going down.
Yeah, extremely smart. Those of you at home, clear the wave when you're in that situation. You don't want to get damaged. You don't want to fight back. You want to clear that wave, and that will give your team the best chance of coming back.
Oh, memorized. Sorry.
Every time. Just every time.
Mid-tower gone. High ground's exposed in all 3 lanes now. Sleepy Team might have ostensibly kept the gold lead, but they're very much losing the game.
Right. Macro isn't always gold. Sometimes it's the towers too, and it's so much easier for Team Queso to be in the right position to take a team fight because they can be anywhere on the map, it seems like.
And they've consistently done exactly that. However, Sleepy are starting to strike back. They've got that pressure in the split lane continuing from Few. He'll now wash up against a tower up top. He took that tower down bottom eventually. If they can keep this game going, I think there's a chance to come back in it.
They absolutely can, and it really rests on Few to be able to make those plays in the split push. That's an Omen's job, and if you can open up the map, then you can open up more opportunities for your team to take those team fights. The issue is, it's hard for them to even go anywhere. All of these towers are still up here for Team Queso.
Few will find exactly this problem. There are 4 members of Team Queso here. Knight's just bailing. Oh no, he'll turn back, try and save his team. Oh, that was good. The bracelets were perfect. He eats all the shots, but Ibuchichi ruins his hard work. Coming in on the flank of the rest of Sleepy Team is nowhere to be found. 09 will arrive just as the second player gets executed.
And just on the back of that, Memorize says, here's another win Cubs, just to put a little cherry on the top of that Sunday. Beautifully done here by Team Queso.
Yeah. See?
What is this?
Did you just get stunned out of your shock at all?
Yeah, by win cups.
By win cups.
It wasn't even
Memorized, anticipated that.
He wasn't even close to it. He just snagged his teammate, and he's like, "No, you're here. Now you're here."
Nicely done by Memorized, to say the least. However, there is some damage coming online. As we said, the gold lead rested for a long time with Sleepy Team, meaning they can take these fights, they can win these fights. They just need to be able to take a fair one.
Yeah, this is all feigned pressure here by Team Queso. You can see the Darkslayer coming up pretty soon. So they're just trying to keep these waves pushed out so that Sleepy Team have to clear them before they go to the Darkslayer.
And Sleepy know this. As soon as Team Queso start to drip back, all of Sleepy Team begin to move forward.
Exactly, they're trying to go for this team fight now, and you can see them sharking for literally with that crest, see if they can't take a fight.
Fico on the flank. He'll be keeping an eye on the Darkslayer and coming in from the side to see if he can find any extra damage. For now, it's just poke on Simjo, who is called out. Lightning Strike will get him to safety. Ring of the Fiend allows all of TQ to back up.
Look at the movement. It's restricted by Sleepy Team because they can't walk in within these towers.
Fico in trouble. Simjo does land the follow-up to Ibuchichi's Wailing Blade.
Right, but that's just going to be a little bit of poke and a little bit of backup here from both teams. Neither one really commit to this because it could be game.
Team Queso are playing this so safe. They are the ones with a little bit more padding, though. If they lose a team fight, as long as it's not total, they can probably come back into game just because they have enough towers.
Right, and I feel like they should use that to their advantage and kind of push Sleepy Team around. Maybe feign going for the Abyssal, feign for going for the Darkslayer, but take advantages elsewhere.
They will actually have Knight from Sleepy Team watching this Abyssal Dragon already, though, and I really like that. Fico's... Oh, Rubies doesn't check. Fico's playing this so well, distracting them and faking a line of scrimmage almost, so that Sleepy Team are all supposed to be behind where Fico's positioned, and now Knight can come through on the flank just as the Metamorphosis lands. Knight doesn't get the damage, but he does chase Simjo back. Memorized with the Hurricane Wall, stalls up the fight. Ibuchichi will go back in though, and that's big damage onto almost everyone. Ibuchichi's down, he'll come back up. Z's permanently gone though, and Fico will follow. A deep dive in. Few tries to chase Yavex out, but he can't do it. The double kill, making a triple kill surely as he gets Few chained up into the Thunderbird. There's nothing Sleepy Team can do. It's just O9 hiding back behind the towers.
It looked like such a great team fight for a Sleepy Team, but Yavex comes in with that Hunter's Mark, takes out so many, and Team Queso are able to rip that apart from the side of Sleepy.
O9 in trouble now, doesn't the HP to stay alive for a very long time, and that might be enough to save the day. Yavex is dropped low, but the tower, the core itself is under threat, and he doesn't have the wave clear, he doesn't have the damage. Memorized keeps the minions safe with a Hurricane Wall, Daniel.
Oh my goodness, team.
Hurricane Wall!
That's how you do it. You keep them alive any way you can. And Team Queso, whoa, showing their macro play.